Hi guys, my name is Kevin. I'm a 21-year-old college student majoring in computer science. And hopefully this is the first production in sort of a weekly, maybe, sort of academic vlog. And what I mean by academic is I'd like to talk about things that are more serious, not pop culture or how I'm feeling today, but things that are going on in the world or things that are cool to think about maybe. But basically, trying to really think. And what I'd like to talk about today is sort of global citizenship. And I think where most of the animosity comes between countries is these extreme groups. We're very familiar here in America with Al-Qaeda and the Taliban, and that's because when you blow up a building, it attracts a lot of attention, and it gets your message across. And in a way, that's the marketing for their ideas, is saying, nobody's paying attention to us, there are these terrible things happening, we're going to blow up a building and maybe people will actually pay attention to us. Think about magazines when you go to the store, in the shopping aisle. They make these big broad claims about celebrities or whatever, to try and attract attention to people, and it's only through basically having a controversial viewpoint that you make yourself sort of you can't be ignored, I guess you could say. Whereas people that are in the middle, I mean, that's boring, right? I mean, why would you want to just be like, well, I don't really know what's going on with Kate right now. That's not what people want to consume and want to hear. Kind of something I'd like to focus on here is the current conflict in Kiev, where basically you have two points of view. The Russians, who are saying that this is a legitimate government that is going through a coup, whereas the rebels say, no, we're trying to tear down a dictator, and we want fair elections. The current president, Yanukovych, right after he took office, there was a big prosecution of one of his political opponents in the last election, and she was found guilty and put in prison. And a lot of Western authorities said, hey, this is a political prosecution. Then, of course, in 2014, right there in January, there were some laws passed in Ukraine, broad laws against protest behavior. So everything that's going on in Ukraine now is definitely illegal. Things like you can't wear masks, or like camouflage. There's internet censorship, but there's a bunch of stuff. You should go look it up on Wikipedia. Basically, we have two sides and two perspectives, and the thing about the Western ideas versus the Russian ideas is they're just representing their self-interest, not necessarily the interest of the people in Ukraine. So of course what we want you to think, though, is that the rebels are the good guys. But if you look at other conflicts, take the Shah, for instance, in Iran. We backed the Shah because he was going to work with us, but he did all these terrible things. Of course, when the Iranian people revolt and the Ayatollah Khomeini is put in power and the Shah is ousted, the Iranians hate us and they think they're doing what's best for their country. So when we look at Kiev and Ukraine, what's going on, the Russians are telling us what's going to benefit them, and the Western societies are just telling you stuff that would end up benefiting them. So when you step back and try to look at this as a global citizen, it's important to ask questions rather than jump to conclusions. I'm not saying that I support the current president Yanukovych or the rebels. What I'm saying is it's better to think of this conflict in terms of the people of Ukraine, what's best for their country. And just because some people in Ukraine are throwing firebombs and shooting guns at police and police are shooting back doesn't mean that the majority of people in Ukraine aren't, they don't want something more in the middle. Maybe they just want to have Yanukovych listen to them instead of actually oust him from his position. Just a couple of things to think about. I'd love to know what you think about this topic. If you want to leave a comment down below. Hopefully I'll see you again next Thursday. Yeah, share it with your friends if you think I've had some good ideas. So thank you, and have a great Thursday.